Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:34, and you too, with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's going to be a weird day weather-wise. A mix of sun and clouds this morning, and then cloudy this afternoon. There's apparently a chance of rain, maybe wet snow. I don't know. I don't pay attention to all this stuff. High of 51, tonight cloudy, and then eventually clearing for tomorrow, which is going to be a nice day, sunny and a high of 51. It's about, 31 degrees right now.
Cold.
In downtown Springfield. It is cold. It is cold.
Chilly.
How are you, Steve?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Terrific. The show's about to begin. Bax and Nagle.
Really?
Rock 102.
Everyone has
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:51. And Stevie Ray Vaughan with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today. Could see some rain, maybe a little bit of snow, depending on where you are. High of 49. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 49. It's 31 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Well, Will Smith is just 3 years into that 10-year ban from the Oscars for that Chris Rock slap. And in a new interview with the Associated Press, he was asked how he feels about it and whether or not he plans to appeal it. He said he's just, quote, looking to be the best human I could possibly be, and I'm going to take what I can get with that. He also discussed his new album based on a true story. That's going to slap.
Yeah. Ooh, I see what you did there. That's a play on words almost.
Comes out on Friday. He said, quote, I've taken the last couple of years to do a really deep dive on the parts of me that may or may not have been in that level of certainty and asking those deep, scary internal questions. It really is the results of my internals, or my initial self-examination. Every song is about some part of myself that I discovered or wanted to explore, something I wanted to share. It's the most full musical offering I've ever created.
Well,
Track 1, my hand hurts bad.
Track 2, Chris's face hurts worse.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least he's trying to make amends.
You know, you can say all you want, making amends and what have you. You still got up off your seat and slap that man in the face. I don't know if there's any appeal process that you can really go through.
It wasn't just like, I'm slapping you because you're standing right in front of me. I'm getting up out of my chair, out of a big bougie dinner.
Yep.
And I'm going to walk all the way up to the stage, and then I'm going to slap you.
And then I'm going to sit down,
Yeah.
and I'm going to continue to yell at you.
And say,
the biggest broadcast of the year.
Keep my wife's name out your mother effing mouth.
He could barely keep spit in his mouth at that point.
Those were the good Oscars. We don't have those knockdown, drag-out fights anymore.
Nah, I sure would like to see more people take a swing at each other.
Suzanne Summers passed away from breast cancer in October of 2023, but now she's back.
That was quick.
And it might not be the last time we say that about a dead celebrity because she's back as an AI robot.
Yeah, boy.
Suzanne's husband, Alan Hamill, worked with a company called Realbotix to create a, quote, digital twin of Suzanne. It mimics her both her voice and speech patterns using recordings and footage of her. That's creepy. And unnecessary.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm watching some of these deep fake videos from like Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
From St. John's, talking things that clearly he did not actually say.
Yeah.
But for someone who's not really looking at that, you might think, did he really say what I just thought he just said?
It even has many of her memories and can answer questions. But it'll never be her because
she's dead.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, even if you know everything about somebody's life or a computer knows everything, all the facts that have publicly been made, you don't really know what kind of. It's not the same. It's not a person. It's just a mimic.
Uh-huh.
When it was asked to share a specific memory of a time with Hamill, it talked about a cooking segment they filmed when they had a funny mishap with a blender. Yes, because that was the public record of what happened. She didn't say, yeah, you remember that time the condom came off and it made that whoosh sound?
I would like to ask, the AI Suzanne Summers.
Yeah.
Hey, when the kisses are hers and his,
Yeah.
what happens?
Come and knock on the door.
Take a step out is new.
Where the kisses are hers and his, Three's Company too. Maybe make a third Suzanne.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you have two chicks and one guy living in an apartment together, and then maybe you can resurrect Norman Fell as an AI robot, as well as what's her name? Irene. What was her name?
Audra Lindley.
Audra Lindley. Yeah, Mrs. Roper.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley.
That's great stuff.
Come and dance on our floor.
Come and dance on our floor.
Take a step that is new.
Oh, take a step that is new.
With a lovable space that needs your face, Three's Company too. We should definitely get the whole gang back together.
You know, it's times like this that I feel sadness that they shut down the Regal Beagle in Indian Orchard.
You know, I was just driving through there last week, and I'm going, man, I remember that Regal Beagle. I remember getting hammered in there one afternoon.
Yeah.
Actually, one morning. Years ago, when Tim's Cartoons was still in business. Remember that place?
I do.
I was getting a car starter put in my car, and I bellied over to the Regal Beagle, and they were playing movies.
I remember going down there with my friend Larry after working all night at the bistro.
Yeah.
And then having this woman, Lana, for I don't know why, she seemed to be like really into me, like in a way that didn't seem natural.
Yeah.
And then we went back to the apartment, and I had to pretend I was gay again, and it was all the misunderstandings that would happen nearly every single week.
See, I used to have to give tips on how to pick up chicks to Mr. Furley.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
I think I preferred Don Knotts over the Ropers. I mean, Norman Fell was very funny, but...
When Norman Fell would look right into the camera after zinging his wife,
yeah,
that was classic. But you're right, I mean, there ain't nothing better than a Don Knotts.
Don Knotts was a classic comedian. He knew what he was doing.
Ain't that
By the way,
truth?
Joyce DeWitt is still alive. She's 75.
How about that?
Yeah.
Is she the last person standing from that show?
No, I think Larry's still alive. I think Larry and Lana are still alive.
No.
But as far as the main characters go, yeah. Obviously, Susan. Well, what's her name still alive?
Who?
The Chrissy. Or not Chrissy, the one that played the cousin.
Jenny Lee Harris.
Jenny Lee Harris.
Or Priscilla Barnes.
Barnes.
Priscilla Barnes.
Was Jenny Lee Harris one, too?
Jenny Lee Harris was supposed to be Chrissy's cousin.
Ah.
She moved in and then moved out, and then the lovely Priscilla Barnes moved in, and then they canceled the show.
I'm glad we made this whole Hollywood trash about Three's Company.
Yesterday you mentioned Delta Burke. I told you that's my Achilles heel. This is the other Achilles heel I got. Chit-chatting about Three's Company.
Well, hey, we can make a different sitcom every day. Today is, you'll see that life is a ball again, laughter is calling for you. Down at our rendezvous. Three's Company too. I guess we don't have to do the Kim Kardashian thing.
No, you do.
Oh, Kris Jenner's new hair makes her look like Kim K's doppelganger.
Really?
Yeah.
Kim must have something to say.
Oh my God! The last time I had a ganger was when Ray J put on an engineer's hat, and invited all his friends over for a poontang train gang, and that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
Maybe this was a mistake. Kaylin?
Ah, yes, the old poo-poo choo-choo to Brownsville. I've seen you taking a ride in business class.
You've taken that to the deep blue.
Yes, I have. But I never got that done and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but I once had a pal over for some Kentucky double teaming. Do you ever have a Kentucky double team? It's like a sportsman's double, but down south.
I see.
We did a pump and munch at the Devil's Triangle. Did you ever have a pump and munch at the Devil's Triangle?
I have not. What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is we roasted a Palm Beach piggy on the dude spit. I think it was better with the pump and munch at the Devil's Triangle. We should have stopped there. Although it's nice to watch a Palm Beach piggy roast on a dude spit.
It sure is.
Yeah. That's not an apple in her mouth. And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102.
Get March markdown deals.
They're major in the community.
Now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint,
cabin stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, remember a few years ago when the New England Patriots were doing crazy stuff like winning Super Bowls and not rewarding championship-level players with lavish contracts and other assorted incentives? Boy, those were good times. Of course, there are also times when the Patriots suck for largely the same reason. That might explain why the team found themselves with gobs of available cash under the salary cap for the second year in a row. That left some people to wonder if the only thing that Robert Kraft was willing to spend his $11 billion fortune on were engagement rings and some $59 rub-and tugs. Well, as it turns out, that is not the only thing that Mr. Kraft is willing to pay for. Yesterday, for example, the Patriots signed free agent four-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Stephon Diggs to a 3-year, $69 million contract, which, as you all know, apparently has been the final elusive piece missing from the Patriots' rebuilding process. A qualified receiver who has the ability to snag laser-fired missiles being launched from Drake May's powerful and exceedingly masculine cannon-like rocket launcher of an arm. If you were looking for a guy to do that, then Stephon Diggs might just be your guy. Now, I should probably point out that Stephon Diggs does have a history of ACL problems, like that time he shredded it last October and missed the remainder of the season. But hey, he's a young 31-year-old man, and for the normal everyday slob like you or me, a torn ACL is nothing more than a quick 6 to 9 month long recovery period. He's practically there now. Surely an aging wide receiver of his caliber, 10 years into his season, which is 7 years longer than the average NFL receiver lasts in this league, is worth a $23 million a year salary. I'd sign that guy all day long. But also be sure to grab another receiver or two in the draft just in case this older model breaks down, which it might. But today is not the day to punch holes in all the excitement. I say welcome aboard, young fella. Welcome aboard. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Get your Scott's 4-step right now at Rocky's. $95 with your Ace Rewards card. Can you imagine that? Plus, if you spend $150 on Scott's products, you'll get $25 in bonus rewards. Plan ahead for a lush, lavish summer lawn and get everything now at a hell of a deal at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield.
Rock, it's 6:13 and Aerosmith with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 49 tomorrow. More of the same with a high of 49. It's 31 right now in downtown Springfield. $20 dinner and a comedy show tomorrow night over at the Shortstop Bar and Grill.
Now tell me about this. This is the first time hearing about it.
Well, if you've never heard about this before, once a month we get together, comedian friends of mine, and we throw a show over at the Shortstop Bar and Grill in Westfield, 99 Springfield Road in Westfield.
That's Route 20, if I'm not mistaken.
A.K.A. Route 20.
Right.
Also known as.
Actually, it's Route 20, also known as Springfield. Springfield Street, is it?
Yeah, Springfield Road.
Springfield Road.
Yeah. Don't get that mixed up. I did that the other day with the Autumn Mist Farm thing, which is on North Westfield Street in Feeding Hills. And the ironic part is we give a gift card away to, maybe that's why I said it.
Yeah.
Because we give one of the prizes that we give away at the end of the comedy show is a gift card to Autumn Mist Farm.
It's a great prize.
So, but maybe that's where I get the address. Anyway, it's $20 dinner and a comedy show. It starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, so come on out.
See, you can't be held responsible to know every street address of every place we go. Like, for example, last night I was at the Delaney House. Now, if you ask me what's the exact address of the Delaney House, I'd say it's between Holyoke and Northampton.
Yeah, because it's muscle memory. You just know where it is.
It's Route 5.
Yeah.
What's the street called at that point? I don't know.
There's a little. I believe it's called Country Club Road.
I would know. I have no idea.
You went to the Delaney House?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, very much like the $20 comedy show.
I was right.
Shut up.
Country Club Road, Holyoke, Mass.
Huh.
How about that?
Look at you
See?
being all
I
like
know
GPS-y.
some addresses.
Well, so once a month, much like the comedy show at the Shortstop.
Yeah.
I get together with my mucky muck friends for that 91 Supper Club thing.
Oh, and you grease each other up and you tell each other how great you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And there's cocktails flowing and the food. I got to tell you, last night the food was terrific. Mick did a hell of a job putting that food together. It was really good.
Really?
Yes. Since I think now he's in charge. I think they've ramped up the game over there. I really do.
Was he not in charge?
Well, now he is the guy. He is the guy. The other guy, Peter, retired, and then Mick bought out his thing. I'll tell you what, I was very impressed last night.
I'm always impressed up there. I love popovers. They're one of the very few places that offer popovers. Popovers. You know what I'm getting at?
I know, I know you're getting at.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good time. And did you and your friends have a good time greasing each other up and telling you how great you were?
I was. I got my share of compliments. I got my share of hey, how you feeling? It was actually the first thing I've done since that procedure 2 weeks. I haven't really been out.
Oh, did you load up on bacon? Did you sample the bacon for the Bacon and Brews?
No. I tried to be very, very careful. I finished the steak. I finished the corned beef hash. I had a couple of lamb chop. I ate very well.
All
yesterday.
The heart healthy things that you should be watching, you took part in.
Yes, but I did drink a Diet Coke, so I think I made the right choice.
I'll have a salad and a Sanka. Please.
And an overwhelming bowl of fat, please.
Ooh, I love just fried fat.
Could you add more lard to the butter, please?
There's not enough of it here.
But that's my monthly thing where I go out and
group thing.
Yeah, it's a revolving sausage fest, is what it is.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm getting.
Bunch of dudes hanging out, talking about dude things.
Yeah,
that's what we did.
What else do you do? You know, you're not too far from Swallow Hollow. If I know my addresses correctly,
well,
I know that
you know more about that area than I do.
Milepost, whatever it is. I don't even know what.
The only swallowing that was going down was the swallowing of drinks and food. That's it.
Oh, are you sure?
As far as I'm concerned, that was all it was.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
Where's the next one?
You know what? I don't even know where the next one is. I don't even know. It changes every month.
Is this like a fraternity club? Like, do you pay money to be part of this, or you just pay as you go when you go?
We all pay for the meal. It's like one standard price, and then you get to hang out with the guys you've known for a while now, and you have a few drinks. You have a bunch of food, and it's a fun time.
Name a famous person that goes there other than you.
Well, last night, I don't mean to brag.
Yeah.
But I had a chance to rub some elbows with the likes of Mr. Angelo Pupolo.
We just talked about him yesterday.
Right?
Did you talk about how we said, hey, maybe you want to change your mind on that Jersey Mike's idea? And
no, he was very much into the Jersey Mike's thing. But then he said, I'm going to have a bunch of pizza guys all upset with me because I want a Jersey Mike's in the neighborhood. I'm like, no, they're not, Angelo. They're going to be fine with you.
I feel like his voice doesn't match his name. Like, he should be talking like this. Or, hey, it's Angelo Pupolo.
Nah, he doesn't like that. No, he's not.
He should talk like that. Hey, you want a Jersey Mike's over there? Come on, we'll get you a Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, so he was there, and I'm trying to think who else. Who else was joining us? There was quite a few mucky mucks around the room.
Oh, I'm sorry I missed it.
Tell you what, damn good time. I had fun. I sure had fun.
Oh, who's got the popovers here? The lady. Oh, that Mick over there. You know why they call him Mick, right?
Why?
Because that's his name. That's why. Yeah.
Thank goodness for that. You had me losing my mind there for a second. So tomorrow night with the comedy show, who can we expect to be joining you?
Travis Steele.
I
got this guy. What's his name? Now I don't know his name. Juan. His name is Juan.
Juan.
Very funny guy out of Albany. He was there last year, probably about 8 months ago.
Okay.
So he'll be back, and you never know. You never know who's going to show up. You never know who's going to show up and do 5 minutes. You never know who's going to pop into the room. It's a hodgepodge.
But the shows have always been good. That's the thing. They're always a good time.
I don't think I've ever had anybody going, man, that was the most horrible thing I've ever seen. And I'm getting there was a couple of comments on my Instagram. Not worth the money.
Not worth $20.
$20 for dinner? You get the dinner.
The
The dinner alone is worth $20.
It's like the comedy show is like the dessert or the aperitif. That's to help you digest all the meatballs you had.
And then somebody else commented, if it's not funny for free on the radio, why would I go pay for it?
Let me ask you a question. Do you find it interesting that people will go so far the way to completely try to discredit you to your face?
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to that too much because I know that those people are just hurting. They were hurt by their dad.
Probably.
And your dad probably hurt you.
They were probably in a situation where they may have been somewhat compromised by society.
Yeah. I've said, recently, within the last 6 months or so, I put out these stupid videos like all the time.
Right.
And I think previously, because I kind of had this little kind of awakening, if you will, about putting stuff out there. And there's so much bad crap out there, like there's really like talentless stuff.
Sure.
And I know that some of the videos that I make, they're not that great, but so what?
It doesn't matter.
So what? It's again, we were talking yesterday. That one video I did now has 400,000 views on it. That means 400,000 people watch that. That's almost 500,000 people.
Or one guy can't stop watching it enough.
Well, I don't think that's how the algorithm works, but like, who cares?
Yeah.
And go ahead, make fun of me. I've been made fun of since I was 12 years old as a little fat kid.
The idea that someone would go out of their way to insult you and to tell you, like, to your face, I don't find you funny and I hate everything you do, is like you're going into
but that's okay. I mean, you can say that.
It would be like going into like a NICU unit and saying to the parents, my God, that is the ugliest damn child I've ever seen in my life.
But
who would have the nerve to do something like that?
Yeah. You know what? It could all end tomorrow. You never know when it's going to happen, so you might as well have fun doing it.
That's right, Steve.
You know what I mean? Just throw it out there. Who cares? And come on out and see me at $20 at dinner at a comedy show tomorrow night at the Shortstop Bar and Grill.
It's 624 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
United Construction and Forestry has you covered.
632 with
go ahead.
632 with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Yankee Home Improvement. Breaking news, homeowners are saving big on windows and showers. Now is the perfect time to call Yankee Home to be ready for spring. His local radio icon, Steve Nagle.
See, that would have been a good bit. That would have been a good bit that I can't share on the radio.
I know. It's unfortunate because it was very funny.
Well, I guess, you know what? You can see it tomorrow night at the Shortstop Bar and Grill for $20 dinner and a comedy show. 2 suspects have been arrested following a shooting at Union Station in which 2 victims sustained gunshot wounds. According to Springfield Police Department spokesman Ryan Walsh, at approximately 3:45 p.m., officers received a ShotSpotter activation at Union Station. Officers arriving at the location found a man and a woman with gunshot wounds. The victims were brought to Bay State Medical Center, and their injuries are currently believed to be non-life-threatening. Springfield Police Department FIU members...
Hey. Enough of the language.
Watch your mouth! What? I said FIU.
Hey. Well, let me tell you a second time.
I didn't say FI me.
Doesn't matter. Watch your mouth. You kiss your mother with that mouth?
No, I do something else.
Yeah, right.
Those members located 3 suspects in the area of Edwards Street, Elliott Street, and Chestnut Street. They were assisted by the C Squad and Metro Unit officers. Oh, they got the big C.
The big C?
Yeah.
By the big E?
Well, the C and the FIU will be next Tuesday. That's when they meet.
right at the intersection.
The FI see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
At the meeting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Of course.
Uh-huh. Anyway, they were... whatever. They got the suspects. A firearm was seized by Springfield police, and an adult man, a juvenile boy, and a juvenile girl were arrested. After further investigation, the adult suspect was released prior to being booked, but they kept the kids.
Do we know what may have led up to this act of violence?
No, maybe it was a turnstile turmoil. You know, somebody
Yeah.
was fighting over who gets to go through the turnstile before the other one does.
Sure.
The incident is being investigated by the Detective Bureau under the direction.
Direction,
Yes,
Steve.
I did. I didn't say it on purpose.
You didn't?
No, I said
Really?
direction of Captain Trent Duda.
I feel much more comfortable talking about the direction of
Yeah.
Trent Duda than anything else that you may be insinuating.
A man was arrested in connection. I don't know why I'm laughing today. I'm laughing extra hard today. What is it?
It's just a punch-drunk mood.
I guess so. A man was arrested in connection with a Pittsfield break-in after allegedly stealing a surveillance camera and sending footage of the crime and his identity directly to police.
That might have been a mistake.
Oh, man, these failed students of the College of Criminal Knowledge. The Pittsfield Police Department said that officers saw a Facebook post on Tuesday made by a resident regarding their home being broken into on Upper North Street. The department soon received a call from the resident and arrived at the residence to investigate. The suspect reportedly broke a door to enter the home. Pittsfield police said they were able to view video surveillance of the break-in in which a man was observed stealing objects, including the surveillance camera. You know, that doesn't work anymore because those things are mostly online.
Right.
You know, like the Ring cameras and stuff. That stuff goes to a database. It's not like the old thing where you had a videotape that you could erase.
Yeah, now these things are monitored in a totally different way.
Yeah. The suspect allegedly brought the stolen objects back to his home, and while doing so, he accidentally activated the camera.
Oh, my gosh.
Showing a clear picture of his face in the video footage. From there, Pittsfield police officers were able to identify the suspect. They located and arrested the suspect at his home, and he was charged with breaking and entering at nighttime, vandalism, and larcening from a building. Well, good for him.
Boy. You see this, I don't know if you got this story or not, this road rage shooting that happened in Windsor. You see this story?
I did see something about it.
There's not a lot of detail about it, and I would be very curious as to how this all went down. But
I got it right here.
it's a weird story.
A person was injured after being shot during a road rage incident on I-91 in Windsor Tuesday night. Troopers said they were called to I-91 South for a reported road rage incident around 4:40 p.m. The incident started on the highway and ended on Weston Street in Hartford. Responding officers determined that the person was shot and sustained non-life-threatening injuries, according to police. 2 people have been arrested. It's unknown what charges they're facing. Where was the weird part about it, though? Because
the weird part about it is that there's no explanation as to what happened. You know what was it? What did the one guy do that pissed that other guy off so much that he thought, the only way I'm going to own this road, because I own it, is to pull out a gun and shoot somebody.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often around these parts. And to me, that's kind of like taking it to the extreme. I can understand giving somebody the stink eye. I can understand, yelling profanities from inside your car. I have a hard time really grasping the concept of pulling a gun out and shooting somebody because you don't like the way they're driving.
You know what it is? It's rage all around. Like there's people who are. You see it all the time on the highway. People are driving like 90 miles an hour, and then they can't get through because now they've reached a line of traffic. Like all lanes are now blocked because the other people are going the speed limit. This morning, I'm coming up Route 10 and 202. Right.
By 7Bs?
Actually, it was
the friendliest bar in the valley.
Actually, it was just Route 202. 10 was it had split already.
They broke up.
They did. They break up right at the corner of 7Bs there.
But that's some road rage.
But 202 goes into Hampton Ponds.
Yes.
Up that way. And then there's a lot of truck traffic in that area. A lot of, because of all the industry back there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So this one particular truck, and it happened. It happens all the time. It's like it's just part of the game. This 18-wheeler is going very, very slow because it's going up the hill, up 202. And it gets to the top of the hill where you're no longer able to pass that truck. Where,
okay.
It has the breakdown lane, or I guess it's called not breakdown lane, but
The shoulder.
The shoulder, well, not the shoulder. It's the lane that
The median.
The lane that
Speed bumps.
The slow lane.
The slow lane.
Yeah. You know where people. There was people way ahead of me that were able to pass this truck, but now I'm stuck behind this truck. Whatever. It's just that's just the way it is because the road merges when it gets to the top of the hill. So I'm behind the truck, but before I get to merge, before this truck starts to merge, this Cadillac out of nowhere, like just comes speeding up the hill, almost trying to get around the truck, but realizes he can't do that, and is now riding the tail, like the tandem of the truck. The bumper, that little thing that hangs down there. He's trying to ride that, and he rides it all the way to the intersection of Homestead Avenue. It's like you're not getting anywhere any faster by doing that. You're not, and if that truck decides to stop, that little Cadillac is going to get decapitated.
But when you own a Cadillac, everyone should get out of the way. You've got a Cadillac, and you're more important.
I don't understand the mentality of people and why they think that the tailgating thing is going to get them anywhere faster. There's been study after study that if you speed, it doesn't really get you to your destination faster.
No, not when you consider the flow of traffic or whatever.
Because you still have other traffic to dodge along the way who are going the normal speed limit.
Now, in the situation in Windsor, it's 4:40 in the afternoon. Traffic is starting to build around 4:30, right?
Oh, yeah.
Easily. So what does a guy have to do to piss you off so much, that the only way to resolve your rage is by pulling out a gun and shooting at somebody?
I'm pretty sure a guy who pulls out a gun during a traffic incident probably doesn't care about other things and maybe doesn't even have a license.
Well, then let me be the very first person in this entire region to say, sir, there's a chance you're an a-hole.
Because I would imagine somebody who's armed, let's say you're licensed to carry, you're armed. Most people who are licensed to carry will not take that firearm out unless they necessarily have to.
Right.
As opposed to, I'm driving along the highway, I'm going to shoot out the window of a car. That just seems to be a bad decision maker right there.
Let's modify this conversation a little bit. Let's just say, for example, that a guy does something on the road that you do not agree with, okay? Yeah. And you decide, I'm going to show him. I'm going to follow him along. I'm going to go right to his car, and I'm going to give him a stink eye, okay? But then that guy, the guy that you're pissed off at, is the guy that's got the gun. And he decides, back off, Jack. Pop, pop, pop. And you just provoked him into doing that because you couldn't just leave enough alone.
And yet they both got to Hartford at the same time yesterday.
Yeah, in an ambulance.
Right. A woman in Florida is facing charges for robbing a Dairy Queen at gunpoint. Speaking of guns, and only stealing $1.50.
That's it?
Yeah. 44-year-old Allison Fetting allegedly flashed a gun at a Dairy Queen near Fort Lauderdale and told the cashier to give her all the money in a register, but she didn't get it, so she grabbed what she could from the tip jar, which was $1.50. How much money is being made at a Dairy Queen that's the place to rob?
That may have been all they had in the register.
It happened back in February of 2024, and they arrested her the next day, but they just charged her on Friday, so that's why we're hearing about it now. Took over a year to bring charges against somebody?
I guess.
She was in jail already. Oh, she was already in jail for several other armed robberies and for drugs. So they're probably investigating all the different things she was doing. She was set to be arraigned for that $1.50 theft sometime today. What?
I mean, it was $1.50 in cash.
Yeah, out of the tip jar.
If I were going to go into a Dairy Queen, I'd probably get one of them those Reese's Pieces Cookie Blizzards. Those are so good. Those are delicious. I'd say, give me 4 of those.
Yeah.
Or someone's going to get it. That to me, that's a crime of passion.
Well, the New York Post made fun of her and said that $1.50 isn't even enough to buy a Blizzard.
Depends on the size.
But Dairy Queen is selling them for 85 cents through April 6th, so who's the dummy now, New York Post?
Yeah, see, I was just thinking the same thing. I'm on the DQ menu now because it's actually, ironically, my homepage.
And I told you what the DQ is on Memorial Drive now in Chicopee. It's Dairy King. Somebody bought it, and now it's going to be called Dairy King.
Was this one of these monarchy coups that happen from time to time, where like a whole takeover of a royal family?
No, I think it's probably somebody trying to try to be as much as like they could be as the Dairy Queen by just changing the name, going, who's going to notice the difference?
Is this one of those situations, very much like in England, where the queen died or abdicated the throne, and then, of course, her son, the prince, then ascends to the throne and becomes king?
It could be. It could be some kind of takeover like that.
We're obsessed about the King Charles. I'm more obsessed about what's going on between Dairy Queen and Dairy King.
Dairy King. Good way to come up with a new name.
Yeah. You're damn right.
If we just change it to King, nobody'll know the difference.
It's scrumdiddlydonctious.
Well, yeah, because this is what we do. We just change the names of things, and people don't know.
I mean, scrumdiddlydonctious is totally different from being scrumdiddlyicious.
It reminds me
two totally different words.
It reminds me of Coming to America, where it was McDowell's Restaurant.
Yes.
They have the Golden Arches. Well, I have the Golden Arch.
One is perfect. Two's redundant.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be sunny, and then maybe some rain showers, depending on where you are throughout the Pioneer Valley. High of 49. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 49. It's 31 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Springfield's classic rock is awesome.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock at 6:53. And Queen with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be a mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 49. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 49. It's 31 right now in downtown Springfield.
This week on Baxi's Musical Podcast, my guest is Keith Roth. He's a singer, songwriter, radio host, podcaster. He's also the current lead singer of the band The Dictators, a band that's been around since the early 70s. Anyway, he is now the new lead singer. He's got a brand new album that came out last week called The Law of Diminished Return. It's really, really good, and he's had over been on 50 different albums during his career. Pretty cool guy. Next week, actually not next week, tomorrow I'm going to post a bonus episode with Richie Honori and Stevie Stewart from the band Sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah, remember Sweet? Ballroom Blitz, Fox on the Run.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy?
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing. Both Steve and Andy are dead, and 3 of the original members of the band are dead. But Steve Priest, who was a longtime member of the band, had been playing with these 2 guys in the Suite for like 17 years. Once he died, he left the legacy of the band to these guys, and they continue to perform now. It's actually really interesting from the perspective of musicians who have been, longtime musicians, but maybe not original members of the band. This is not the only example of that happening. It's happened to lots of other bands, and it's actually kind of cool the way they are describing how this all came down and how they continue the legacy of this band that sold over 35 million albums during the 1970s. So that's coming up tomorrow. You'll hear it on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, and on the app. And it's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee and Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
I really like that opening. Here, turn my computer up.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
It's a classic.
Yeah, see? And is Mick still alive?
No, Mick is dead too.
They're all dead.
The only one is alive. Actually, Andy is alive. Andy is alive.
I like that riff.
The 3.
That opening riff.
Let me tell you something. Sweet were a big deal. Fox on the Run, Little Willie, Love is Like Oxygen.
That's
a
one of
great song.
One of my favorite songs. Because
I
it
always
reminds
love that
me
song.
that sex is like oxygen. It's not important until you're not getting it.
Now that you put it that way, it's you're right.
Pretty good tune.
Yeah. Anyway, they got brand new music that's out now, and more on the way, and so you can check out that interview starting tomorrow.
Well, looking forward to it.
Yeah, be a good one.
I was at I did a little video yesterday. I went over to the Savers. Did you see that video?
I haven't got a chance yet.
It was a I always like finding these things because it just shows like a breakup happened. When you see certain items on the shelf, and maybe it didn't, but I like to think that this didn't go the way it was. And it was one of those chalkboard signs, and on the bottom it was a countdown, like days until we become Mr. and Mrs.
Oh boy!
And I'm like, you're buying a pre-used countdown sign is kind of like using an already used pregnancy test. Sometimes it's better that you start fresh. But I love seeing stuff like that in there because it's like, somebody's stuff got dumped off at the Savers because it didn't work out.
Somebody's stuff was left on the driveway.
Yeah, listen, when you see some good stuff at like a Salvation Army or any kind of thrift store,
Oh yeah.
you know that there was some animosity going on in there.
When you see something that's not like clothing or something like that,
Yeah.
something that's like beyond that, you know there's a breakup or a good story behind it.
What clothing? What clothing?
No, clothing you just get
Yeah.
rid of because you've outgrown it or it's old or whatever. But it's stuff besides clothing.
Yeah.
There's almost always a story as to why you don't want that junk anymore.
Especially if it's like those live, laugh, love signs that have
Yes.
something to do with a relationship.
Like a potentially romantic gift going to like a Savers or Salvation Army. There's a reason for it.
You're my forever. How forever is it if it's on the shelf of the Goodwill?
Well, since it arrived last week, I'm going to say forever ended last week.
Well, I was going to say, I remember forever was until the day you cheated on me and you ran off with my best friend and I had to drop all your stuff off at the Savers.
It was the day that you came home and said you were pregnant. 4 months after my vasectomy.
You know what? If they want to make a little bit more money at those thrift stores, they should have this was from a breakup section and have all the stuff that was from a breakup.
You know what?
And somebody else's
People would thumb through that stuff all the time.
I'm telling you, somebody else's sadness is another man's treasure, another man's come up. That's right.
Breakup stuff, dead people stuff.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things you want to like. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to know where it came from.
Is there anything I should know about this couch I'm about to take? Yeah, well, a guy died in it. Okay.
All right,
I'll take it for a quarter.
Yeah, load it up on the Prius. We're going home.
It's 6:58 at Rock 102.
Caller. And now, Bax's View from the Couch. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, what do you say we do some math? You know me. I'm all about the numbers, and the numbers are all about me. Yesterday, the NBA announced they intend to increase the salary cap by as much as 10% for next season. 10%! Yesterday, teams were informed that next season the salary cap will be increased by $14 million per team for a total of $154.6 million per franchise. Now, to me, that sounds like a lot of money, but when you consider that the average salary of an NBA player is about $12 million a year, the current $140 million salary cap can get gobbled up pretty damn quick. It's simple economics 101. Yes, paying the weakest deadweight $12 million is a lot of money. And yes, your star players are always going to make more. Jason Tatum for the Celtics, for example, making $62 million this season. That currently leaves only $78 million for everybody else. And that includes Jaylen Brown, who's making $49 million this year. That's why a 10% increase is absolutely necessary. How are you going to put together a team without a little cash? Seems to me that you simply can't get that done, not unless you have a salary cap of at least $154.6 million to burn. Now, here's the troubling part. The NBA wants to raise their salary cap by 10% while they've lost more than 48% of its audience in the last 12 years. Now, I'm no math whiz, but from my calculations, that's almost half And oddly enough, those TV ratings, the very ones that ESPN, ABC, NBCU, and Amazon Prime paid for, the $77 billion to get for the next 11 years, things have only gotten worse. Why? Because the NBA isn't really that great. Between a gross lack of fundamentals, endless three-point shooting, your best player sitting out during nationally televised broadcast, and Tracy Morgan puking on the floor from his courtside seats, now is the perfect time to conceal all the hemorrhaging by covering it up with dollar bills. And you know you're going to need at least an extra $14 million per team to cover up all those boo-boos. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Sure, you can paint your house, but you need to do some help from time to time. You need to see Steve-O at the Liberty Street Rockies. Pro painting crews count on Steve-O. He can help you with your pro painting tricks and advice. Good people, rock solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. 10 and the Eagles with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be a mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 49. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 49. It's 31 right now in downtown Springfield.
We get some people coming in here later on today, don't we?
We do. We have Angela Park and Dan McClellick from the 52 Sumner Avenue. They got a whole series of cover bands coming up in May, and we'll talk to them about that. That's a great venue down there.
Yeah, it's turning out to be something really special, which is really awesome.
It's almost as great as the Shortstop Bar and Grill for $20 dinner and a comedy show this Thursday night.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a good comedy and good dinner, go to the Shortstop. You can message me if you want tickets. I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, no, you don't want to waste the opportunity.
How about a little nostalgia?
Okay.
Max? You like nostalgia?
Sure.
Which long-gone products would you want to make a comeback? A new study has found 2 in 3 Americans would pay extra to have their favorite retired products revived. The poll of 2,000 U.S. adults found the average person would pay 32% more for the products they once loved to be brought back to reality from their favorite brands. Over half, 55%, said retired products are more valuable to them than any brands can currently offer. I don't know how hung up I'm on something.
Well, a lot of these things that are no longer around,
Yeah.
I've forgotten about. I'd almost need to hear what the kind of things we're talking about here.
So here we go. Many respondents named old products they think deserve the revival treatment. Classic Atari. But you can get the condensed versions now where you have all of the games of Atari on one little tiny joystick.
Yeah, a lot of those games are still around.
Sega and Nintendo consoles. What was the it was Sega Genesis. That was
a big one for a while.
Sometimes those that old technology is actually better than some of the new technology that you had.
See, I had the original Atari.
Yeah.
But my best friend had an Intellivision, which was a step up.
A Nintendo console, I have one of those.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I haven't played it in a while, but during the pandemic, you dust it off and you bring it out. And I was playing RC Pro-Am. That was one of my favorite games on the Nintendo. It was the
racing game, right?
Yeah, the radio-controlled cars. And
Yeah.
You'd have to slide around the track, and it was, I don't know why that was so exciting to play, even though it's just a bunch of cars going around on a track. And it was really hard to control.
There are some games that are great to play on a phone, and there are some games that really kind of are enhanced by a separate joystick or controller.
Yeah.
I think I tried downloading Mario Kart on my phone, and it sucked. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, it's not the same.
Because you got to have your fingers on the screen, and your fingers get in the way of all the good stuff.
You're used to that controller.
Yeah.
The actual controller.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But some people don't. Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah, I was not a fan.
It didn't taste, it was like Sprite. That's really what it was.
That's all it
came
was.
Down to. Banana Nesquik. I never had that.
I hate fake banana flavoring. To me, it's gross.
Yeah.
Banana flavored candies and stuff. No, can't do it.
BlackBerry phones. Everybody loved the BlackBerry.
I didn't have one.
That was a thing. I didn't have one either, but well, maybe I did. I think I did when I was producing the show, and we had a morning show cell phone.
Yeah.
And I had one of these little things with the keyboard on it. I didn't like that at all. It had like a mouse that you moved, like a ball mouse.
Yeah, a
ball mouse. That you moved around. I didn't really care for that.
No, I had to hit, in order for me to text anything, I had to hit buttons 3 times.
The original iPods, I didn't think they were that great.
The iPod, the original iPod actually was one of the fastest growing items ever. Prior to the iPhone,
right?
It completely changed how people listen to music.
But then the technology changed so fast.
Right. They became quickly obsolete once it was incorporated into cell phones. Once that happened, it's a done deal. But that was a major development.
Jolt Cola.
That got me through college, dude. Jolt Cola and Vivarin. If you wanted to, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If you wanted to read 5 or 6 books of British literature in the course of 72 hours, the only way to do it was through Jolt Cola and Vivarin.
How many of those before you had a heart attack?
12-pack.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I always stopped at 10.
That's a lot of caffeine to have.
It's a lot. It was double the caffeine and 3 times the sugar, or something like that. I don't remember the exact recipe, but it was powerful.
Bubblegum Jeans. I don't know what that is.
That must have been a brand.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, no, I me neither.
But yeah, these people want this stuff back. Commissioned by UserTesting.com and conducted by Talker Research, the study revealed 71% would likely shop from brands that they associate with childhood nostalgia. What's your favorite brand you want brought back? 293-1021.
Listen, I don't think it's right for almost a 59-year-old man to start wearing tough skins around the house.
No, I don't think you should.
I don't think I need that, or health tech shirts or Garanimals, so help me match my clothing better.
I'm trying to think of anything that I could really. I don't know if I'd necessarily pay 53% more for something that I wanted so badly. I do. I think the one and only product, and I've mentioned this before, Planters had these PB crisps.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And they were only around for a few short years, and then they got rid of them. They had ones filled with peanut butter, but then there was other ones that I really liked that were filled with chocolate cream. It was kind of like, remember Magic Middles cookies?
Sure.
I think they still make those once in a while.
But they don't make the PB crisps anymore.
No, and it was a crispy cookie shaped like a peanut.
Yeah.
And then inside was this creamy chocolate. Do we have anybody calling?
No, we don't have anybody calling.
No. Nobody has any nostalgia?
No. These people are too busy with their lives.
Nobody wants Dave Coombs brought back? I mean, that was a product from your past. It was certainly one from mine.
What's your favorite worthless stuff story?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of you like food stuff that I liked as a kid.
Yeah.
But most of it's still available in different forms. I mean, it's like.
But I wonder.
I'm trying to remember, like, was there any candy that I really, really loved?
I know recipes have changed over the years, like Chef Boyardee raviolis. I used to love those.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it's your taste buds change or they just cheapened up I think they cheapened up the product.
I think they definitely cheapened up the product because back when we were kids, food from a can was the shiznit. I mean, that was that was the best way to eat food. Was like from a can. You're absolutely right. Like all those Chef Boyardees or Franco-American cans of pasta and sauce. Those were fantastic when you're a kid. Now, I mean, I can still taste it. I can still memorize that taste. And no, it's no longer appealing to me.
We weren't allowed to have SpaghettiOs because my dad found a spider inside one of them.
Oh, really?
When he opened the can, there was a dead spider inside.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. We're never buying this crap again.
Yeah, but what's the likelihood you're going to have like 2 spiders in 2 different cans?
Well, I'm sure
Not
that's
real likely.
the way to go. But I think there was a better taste to some of that stuff back then.
You might be right. All right. Rock 102. Oh, come on now. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning. This is Scott.
What's up?
Calling in on things.
Yeah,
you're on the air, Scott.
You're on the air, Scott.
Yeah,
what do you got?
So how about ring dings? The aluminum foil, they were single wrapped, individually wrapped. ring dings that were in a box. Those were amazing.
Let me tell you something, and this is no exaggeration. I used to love ring dings, and I would rip through a box in no time at all. And the thing that I love the most about the ring dings, and you can back me up on this because it's absolutely true. When you ate a ring ding, and these were Drake's cakes, for those of you keeping score, ring dings left the inside of your mouth with this weird, slippery film that filled your mouth. You could taste the ring ding for hours afterwards. The best part about it. Am I right?
Amazing.
Incredible.
Yep, they used to get rationed out. Parents would buy them, put them on the top shelf, and then we'd each get one at the end of the day.
See, I feel bad for you because it was just me and my sister, and I was always the one to go through it and just cram those things down like you wouldn't believe. Ring dings.
Lucky boy.
Good call. I appreciate that one. Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Mike Jones. I miss whatchamacallits.
Whatchamacallits,
They
those
still
are good
make
too.
those.
Yeah, I think you can still get those.
Mike Jones has been away for a little while.
There was no reason to bring him back. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this? Turn your radio down, please.
It's sound. This is Chris.
Hey.
I used to really like the Butterfinger BBs back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, those were
tiny
good.
little-
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen those in a while.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Thank you.
How about bring back O'Brien and the 3C conversations, cancer, cops, and casinos?
They don't package those anymore.
No, they don't.
They
make
really
them like-
don't.
they don't make them like they used to.
Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, good morning. This is Ed from Huntington. How are y'all doing?
Good, Ed. What's up?
All right. Hey, great. Crocodiles, and one of my favorites is snowballs.
Do you like the pink snowballs?
Yeah, baby. The snowballs with the marshmallow on them and the nice chocolatey cream filled. Oh, my God. Delicious. Snowballs are delicious.
He's not wrong about that. Snowballs are pretty good.
Yeah, they are, my man.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks for doing you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
All right,
you.
no problem.
This lady on the Route 10 Tire listener line, Suzy Q's. The original Suzy Q's were good. They used to be a lot better, but is it your childhood memory because it was just sugar and cake, or is it a recipe change over the years? I think it's a recipe change.
It might be a recipe change. You remember that brief period of time when Hostess stopped making like Twinkies and stuff?
Yeah. Man, that was your personal Vietnam, wasn't it?
I still got the post traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah.
I get the DTs when I had to stop eating the Twinkies.
Bet you do.
Same thing with like the Hostess fruit pies. I used to love the Hostess fruit pies. I used to like the Table Talk pies.
I think the recipes changed over the years.
I think you're right.
I don't necessarily think that it's something you enjoyed as a kid and now doesn't taste the same as adult. Although I'll never ever get used to that Underwood
The deviled ham?
the chicken spread.
Oh, yeah.
My mother used to make those, the chicken spread, because the commercial was be like, "Hey, you can get a whole lunch meat's too expensive." Remember that weird little kid that used
They
to
sure
do the
do.
commercial? Yeah, Bob says we could get a whole lunch meat for less than $1. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Is that weird little kid that they had. Yeah, doing the commercial.
Yeah.
That stuff was disgusting.
My mom used to make this thing where she'd take like a chicken breast, right?
Yeah.
And it'd get pounded out a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk about the chicken breast. And then she put the Underwood deviled ham in the chicken breast, roll it up, toothpicks, covered it with Campbell cream of mushroom soup, pop that in the oven.
Oh, God. You just made me puke just thinking of that.
It tasted a lot better than it sounded.
That's disgusting.
I actually found myself liking that. Now, if I had that today, I might not be so appreciative. But back then, it was like that was a good use of processed foods.
Here's the answer. A friend of mine texted me. They took all the trans fats out of those cakes. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It was the same with New York City did it when they took out all the buttercream or whatever they were using for like the Ferrara's famous cannolis and all that stuff. They said like the taste completely changed on these things because they weren't using the same old buttercream.
Things were better, so much better, when there were so many more cancer-causing agents in our food.
Yeah. I would say Little Debbie's. Little Debbie's used to be the same. They used to be really good, and now they're not as good anymore.
Not as good. No.
Yeah.
Zebra cakes today are not the zebra cakes of old. That's for damn sure.
We're going to get a good damn zebra cake around here.
It's 7:24 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's 7:28 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown, full forecast. That guy, he got it.
We have home show tickets to give away a little bit later on this morning, and we're also going to have some folks. We were just talking about this off the air. The folks from 52 Sumner, and right there on Sumner Avenue in Springfield.
Yeah,
they got a whole list of events coming up in the next couple of months. And last year when they really started to bring in some new acts and it was really starting to get going, now they've really kind of caught their groove and they got some great stuff on the way. We'll be talking to them around 8:50 this morning.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, really cool stuff. Some nicely done.
Yeah, they're I was talking with John O'Neill yesterday. Remember the guy that used to come out and do the Irish songs for us?
Sure.
He's actually going to be performing for us at the Rick's Place event on June 21st when we do the summer kickoff party.
Yep.
I think he just played there with the Irish band last week.
At Venice Valley?
Yeah, and you talk to a musician, who does these venues. They said it's like one of the coolest venues to perform at, and the sound system in there is absolutely amazing. So we'll talk to those folks coming up and see what they got on the way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's 7:29. We got news next on Rock 102.
Yep.
7:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Freedom Credit Union. Freedom is yours. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
All right. Well, I'm just waiting for the computer to fire back up so we can do the news. Sometimes the spark plug dies and you gotta gas it up and then make sure you choke it and then pull the ripcord again and see if that router gets going again.
Sometimes you're gonna take that whole mouse cage and fill it with more cardboard toilet paper rolls to keep running on that little treadmill.
Well, that's what we do here. How about this one? Officers were able to capture 2 Springfield men who were allegedly trespassing in an apartment building on South Bridge Street in Holyoke last week. In a news release from the Holyoke Police Department, officers were conducting property checks in the area of 545 South Bridge Street and nearby alleyways to address quality of life issues at around 8:35 p.m. on March 17th. St. Patrick's Day.
What are the chances that somebody in Holyoke on St. Patrick's Day might have found themselves in a place they were unfamiliar because they may have been overserved?
They found approximately 9 bags of heroin and fentanyl abandoned on the rear porch. And nearly 2 hours later, officers were back in the same area for a gun call. Clancy, look at what we got over here. We got a pot of gold at the end of Bridge Street.
Oh, it's magically delicious.
When police came, and then we arrived,
That means 2 things.
multiple people scattered. However, a man on the bike rode away, ditched it, and jumped over several fences and was captured by an officer. After officers found 5 bags of heroin in the suspect's jacket, an additional 10 bags inside an inhaler. That was what you were hiding in your shillelagh? 28-year-old Jonathan Vergara of Springfield was arrested. 5 additional bags of heroin were located off, and he ran.
So that's what's in your pot of gold.
So that's what you were doing on Bridge Street. It's like these two. All I can think of is like the Irish cops in the Looney Tunes cartoons walking around on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, Figaro, we've got the place surrounded.
We got the place surrounded. And then the guy inside. Yeah, now if this gas was on, when I throw a match inside of this oven. Shut up, shit-nip. That's my nostalgia. That's the cartoons that I want to see run again, but they're not PC enough anymore. I guess.
Which is too bad, man. Because I mean, what kid was damaged by Bugs Bunny cartoons? When Bugs Bunny is calling like the square dancing with those 2 hayseeds.
Yeah.
One of the funniest damn cartoons ever. Ever. No, you can't find cartoons funnier than that.
You know the weird thing is like we can't show that stuff anymore because it's just not it's too offensive or whatever. But yet here they have, what are the kids shows they've had in the last 15 years? all of these TV shows on Nickelodeon where these kids were completely exploited by the producers of the show.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah,
but
that's okay. But God forbid we showed Bugs Bunny, doing something he shouldn't be doing.
But show that date rapist Pepe Le Pew, and all of a sudden we've got problems.
Oh, man, let me take you to the Casbah. I don't understand. #MeToo.
Her face says no, but her eyes say yes.
I mean, he was a little creepy.
Oh, no, he was definitely creepy.
He was definitely... I would imagine he would be a registered sex offender.
Hello, my dear. I have moved into your neighborhood. Yeah. I'm told I must tell everybody in the neighborhood I'm here.
Please come this way. I'm not allowed within 100 yards of that school over there.
Nothing to fear. I'm only level 2.
Imagine having to go door to door and knock and tell her, hey, I just moved into your neighborhood. The law says I have to tell you that I'm a skunk living in your neighborhood. Speaking of weird things like that, yesterday, driving on Route 5 in West Springfield, right, there was a white van, like a plain white van.
Yep.
With a sign on the side that had no writing, but it was a picture of a bunch of candy bars. Like a really well taken picture of a professional picture of candy bars. Hershey's and Reese's and I'm like, is this like one of these distributor guys that drives around, and really is that the
preferred vehicle?
The preferred vehicle for a guy in a who can creep your kids out?
The candy man can.
The candy van.
The candy van.
The candy van can.
Because it drives on up and down Route 5 and makes your kids run away.
It was just the oddest thing
weird
that I've seen. And I was driving, so I couldn't take a picture of it.
Yeah.
And but it was I really, if I get a chance and I see that again, it just seemed like not a good business choice to use, the stereotypical plain white van with just picture of candy on it.
When I was a kid, and this goes back, I don't know, I was like 5, 6, maybe like 7 years old at the most.
Yeah.
We lived on a corner lot in Attleboro, and that was the intersection that the ice cream man would stop at every single day during the summertime, like right in front of my house.
Did you stop him when he passing by?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, the guy that would stop had an ice cream truck, and he was a legitimate ice cream salesman. He had everything.
Out of the wagon?
No, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So this is a guy, he had a legitimate, ice cream truck with the ding-dongs and all that other stuff, and you could hear him from like a quarter mile away. But there was another guy that would also sell ice cream out of his Buick Roadmaster family truckster with the wood grain option and no hubcaps on the tires, and he had like stickers all on the back of the station wagon that like covered the entire window of the back of the station wagon. No parent would give their kid money when this guy was driving through, because the vehicle he was driving made him look creepy. Now I don't know if this guy was if this guy was on the up and up or not. There's no way to tell. But if all the windows in the back seat of your vehicle are covered up with ice cream stickers,
that's a little.
And you're
strange.
driving around in a piece of garbage with wood grain option on the side, it made everybody very uncomfortable.
I would be very uncomfortable, even just the thought of that. It makes me uncomfortable.
Exactly. At least when the ice cream guy, that guy Ronnie Pelagi, would come through. He'd open up the window, everyone get their Italian ices and the push-ups and everything else, and that's legitimate commerce right there. And the guy in the station wagon, maybe not so much.
The modern day version of that was the guy in the meat van driving around Westfield. About 4 years ago, there was a guy driving around selling discount ribeyes out of the back of his van.
Well, that seems
and
creepy.
People were buying that. That was the thing that got me. It's like, you're not going to have these folks in your neighborhood if you don't buy anything from them. But there was like, how convinced would you be when a guy gets out of a van in your neighborhood, just drives up to your house, gets out and goes, I got some cheap ribeyes in the back over here and some coolers. And you say, okay. And you walk up and you give the guy money and you buy meat that you don't know where it came from.
And you got to walk up to the back of the guy's meat truck with the hooks on top.
He's the mystery meat van man.
Yeah, no, I'm not comfortable with that.
That's what I'm saying. People get duped into that stuff. Hey, last hour we were talking about the odd shooting yesterday afternoon on I-91 in Windsor. There's no other details about that. But the driver reported that the car was being shot at and made it to Hartford and whatnot. Today, a driver told state police in Connecticut that their car was shot at on I-91 North in Hartford this morning. Troopers, both I-91 North and Route 15 were closed for the investigation. They have since reopened. They said they received a call at about 1:57 a.m. about a victim who reported that their car was shot at while traveling on I-91 near exit 29A. The victim drove to their home before they contacted authorities. Both lanes of the I-91 northbound exits 29 and 29A, as well as Route 15 between 87 and 89, were shut down for the investigation. No injuries were reported. The highway reopened at 5 this morning. That's weird. 2 shootings within less than 24 hours on I-91?
And not seemingly connected, right?
No, but
That's
they're
weird.
showing because when I first saw this headline on Western Mass News, it said shooting on I-91. I thought they were talking about the one from yesterday, but then I see a picture, it's dark outside, and then my first thought was, here's the news again, putting the wrong picture up. But it's not. It's actually, but they have a picture of the fire blast coming from the car.
That is weird.
I hope this isn't some kind of, trendy thing going on.
Let's hope not. We really don't need that on the highway. Whether it's in Connecticut or here in Massachusetts, we really don't need that.
No.
Got enough problems as it is.
Put your guns away.
I don't like driving with my guns anyway. I prefer leaving them in my fully locked arsenal.
Your fully locked arsenal.
I'm kidding. I don't have any guns in the house. You kidding me?
A man was arrested in connection with a Pittsfield break-in after allegedly stealing a surveillance camera and sending footage of the crime and his identity to law enforcement.
Steve, I believe it's pronounced Pittsfield.
Have you ever been there?
I have.
And I don't think you know what you're talking about. The Pittsfield Police Department said that officers saw a Facebook post on Tuesday made by a resident regarding their home being broken into on Upper North Street. The department soon received a call from the resident and arrived at the residence to investigate. They heard about it on Facebook before the person called the police.
What a great source of emergency news.
Hey, there's a crime going on here. And then they call, we were just talking about you.
I think my phone's listening to my conversations.
Yeah, we were just playing around on Facebook. We saw your house, and then, whoa, what are the chances of you calling us?
I just thought it was clickbait.
Yeah, we thought it was fake news. But thank God you called.
I clicked, and all of a sudden, I got all these pop-ups and one thing after another.
The suspect reportedly broke a door to enter the home. Pittsfield police said they were able to view video surveillance of the break-in in which a man was observed stealing objects, including the surveillance camera. The suspect allegedly brought the stolen objects back to his home, and while doing so, he accidentally activated the camera, showing a clear picture of his face in the video footage. What an idiot.
What are you going to do?
From there, Pittsfield officers were then able to identify the suspect. Pittsfield police located and arrested the suspect at his home, and he was charged with breaking and entering at nighttime, vandalism, and larceny from a building, and being a complete moron.
Well,
takes all kinds, doesn't it?
I mean, some things are worth stealing and some things are not.
I guess so.
You should do what they do back in on the old TV shows. They go to a security camera, they take a
spray paint,
spray over the lens.
Yeah,
it's the way to do it. That's why I do it. It's the way I always do it.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast. Oh, well, you get all that spray paint stuff from your local Rockies neighborhood hardware.
That's right. Every store's got a paint center. Good people, rock solid service at every Rockies Ace Hardware location.
They make the guns now for the top of the spray cans. You don't have to just sit there and use your finger. They actually make a spray gun for it.
Right. And by the way, here's a little bit of painting advice.
Yeah.
Always shake the can before you break into the house.
Oh, really?
We don't want to try going after the cameras and the paint's not ready to be unloaded out of the can.
Yeah, you don't want to reveal yourself on the camera.
No, you got to shake the cans. Make sure they're ready. It doesn't take a whole hell of a lot.
Are you teaching a class at the Steve Nagle College of Criminal Knowledge soon? You should. You have experience.
Let's just say I put the junk in adjunct.
I bet you do.
Yeah,
All
you know what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah, that's what I do.
Hey, it's 31 in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
You deserve a say in your health.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:53 and Blue Oyster Cult with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 49. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 49. It's 31 in downtown Springfield.
You know, I haven't talked about this in news, but I feel like we should at least you mention this. Maureen Neal, the wife of Congressman Richie Neal, died last week. It was just announced yesterday that she died just before her 75th birthday. Want to offer our condolences to Congressman Neal and their entire family. Very, very sad passing. A lot of people were talking about it last night at the supper club, and so we want to. The congressman has been on our show for years and years, and we just want to extend our condolences and our sympathies to him and his family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So. Anyway,
it's always weird to move on from that.
It is weird to move on, but I mean, we do have jobs to do. So that being said,
yeah, commercial breaks don't stop.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
you got to keep moving.
I know. You got to keep moving. It's a sad thing, but anyway.
Well, I mean, if you talk about sad things, there's always hope, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will.
And what would that be, Steve?
Well, the Rick's Place 5K is coming up. Speaking of people putting people in memory.
Yep.
And the 5K is coming up at the end of April. They have signs. If you want to run in this race, they have signs that you can use for memories of your loved one. The deadline is like this weekend. Like, you got to get the thing in to get the sign. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get the sign on the thing. So you can go sign up at ricksplacema.org if you want to sign up for that 5K, and if you want to get the sign in for the thing. Otherwise, you're still welcome to sign up for the race. I mean, the sign-ups go all the way up until like April 15th or something like that. So,
but if you wanted a sponsorship sign, now's the time to do it.
Right.
Gotcha.
Now's the time to do it. See, I turned it into a positive thing.
Look at you. Yeah. How about that? That's nice of you. Hey, the original Western Mass Home and Garden Show is coming up this weekend. In fact, it starts tomorrow at the Eastern States Exposition. If you want to find out more information about the show, go to westernmasshomeshow.com for all the details. We happen to have a 4-pack of tickets to give away right now.
See, I'm glad we padded that sad news with the bereavement news versus just going in from the sad news into the, hey, spring has sprung. It's the Western Mass Home and
that's
Garden
why I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go right into it
Yeah.
because it's like, like it's a sad thing, and it's like, here's a happy thing. Western Mass Home and Garden Show, 10th caller, 293-1021. I'm trying to be sensitive, but yet I'm also trying to do my job at the same time.
I get it. It's a hard thing to balance.
It's very hard.
We can't do it. And, again, our condolences go out to the congressman.
Yes.
It's a sad thing. But it's just the weird transition that we had. I had to put in something about at least bereavement in there to talk about that.
The great Brenda Garton used to be classic at this. She would report on a story that was sad, and then all of a sudden it'd be like one of these things. And then 4 people were pronounced dead at the scene.
Yeah.
The pancake breakfast is this weekend in Springfield.
We're cheering up.
It's like, if it was just like something in between that and that, but that's just how the broadcasting operates sometimes.
Well, I know, but I mean, at least you didn't do like the condolence and then be like, babe, bacon and bruises sold out.
Listen,
you missed your chance.
Listen, we're not being insensitive here.
No.
We're doing our jobs, and we are sincere in both directions.
As a person who has dealt with personal loss, humor is a good way to get you through those things, and that's all we're trying to do.
It's 7:57 on Rock 102.
It's Rock 102's Bracket Brawl, presented by Neutral. Bracket busted? You've got a chance to make a new bracket for the round of 6.
Now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, remember a few years ago when the New England Patriots are doing things like winning Super Bowls and not rewarding championship-level players with lavish contracts and other assorted incentives? Boy, those were good times. Of course, there were also times when the Patriots sucked for largely the same reason. That might explain why the team found themselves with gobs of available cash under the salary cap for many years in a row. That left some people to wonder if the only thing that Robert Kraft was willing to spend his $11 billion fortune on were engagement rings and some $59 rub and tugs. Well, as it turns out, that is not the only thing that Mr. Kraft is willing to pay for. Yesterday, for example, the Patriots signed free agent four-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Stephon Diggs to a 3-year, $69 million contract, which, as you all know, apparently has been the final elusive piece missing from the Patriots' rebuilding process. A qualified receiver who has the ability to snag laser-fired missiles being launched by Drake May's powerful and exceedingly masculine cannon-like rocket launcher of an arm. If you were looking for a guy like that, then the Stephon Diggs might just be your guy. Now, I should probably point out that Stephon Diggs does have a history of ACL problems, like that time he shredded it last October and missed the remainder of the season, but hey, he's a 31-year-old man, and the normal everyday slob like you or me, a torn ACL is nothing more than a quick 6 to 9 month long recovery period. He's practically there right now. Sure, an aging wide receiver of his caliber, 10 seasons into his career, which is 7 years longer than the average NFL receiver last in this league, is easily worth a $23 million salary. I mean, that guy, I'd sign him all day long. I'd also be sure to grab another receiver or two in the draft just in case this older model breaks down, which it might. But today is not the day to start punching holes in all that excitement. I say welcome aboard, young fella. Welcome aboard. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Get your Scott's 4-step right now at Rocky's. $95 with your Ace Rewards card. Plus, spend $150 on Scott's products, get $25 in bonus reward cash. Plan ahead for a lush summer lawn. Get everything now and get a hell of a deal at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 8:11 and Def Leppard with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 49. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 49. It is 31 right now in downtown Springfield.
We're going to have some people coming up later on this hour from 52 Sumner. They got a whole great calendar of events coming up, and we'll be talking to Angela Park and Dan McClellick a little bit later on this hour about it.
A plethora of events.
I tell you what, I think they've done a really good job booking the place, and like I said, we'll be talking to them later this hour.
I like the word plethora.
It's a good, yeah, it's a good word.
Hey, it's springtime, and you know what that means. Dirt bikes back in action in downtown Springfield. Were you just talking about that?
I just reading the story now.
Dirt bikes have been a common sight in Springfield for years, especially as the weather starts to warm up. But Springfield leaders and police are already cracking down on this trend before it becomes a major problem. On Wednesday, Mayor Dom, Police Superintendent Larry Akers, and Ward 5 City Councilor LeVar Click Bruce, who chairs the City Council Subcommittee on Public Safety, are all expected to come together at Greenleaf Community Center to announce plans for enhanced patrol and enforcement. Come together right now
at Greenleaf Park.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing that I'm a little perplexed by. The dirt bike problem has been going on for a couple of years now, and they have yet to solve it. So what makes them think that they're going to solve it now?
Well, I mean, the amount of them have decreased over the last few years because of the increased patrols and stuff. They got that ATV. You know, they got that that can travel through and follow them through the woods now versus, the Wile E. Coyote style where the Roadrunner runs off into the tunnel and the Springfield police hit the tunnel with the car.
Right.
It was already painted on a wall, and somehow these dirt bike riders got through that tunnel that was painted on it.
Yeah, right.
A lot of Looney Tunes references this morning.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But it used to be a major concern for residents as riders were not only putting the lives of others and themselves at risk, it also led to a fatality, recalling last November's incident, which involved a young boy who was riding a dirt bike and later died after striking a curb and hitting a public works sign. Last year, Springfield police spokesman Ryan Walsh said that they credit the decline in complaints after they took a regional approach to tackling the issue, which includes working with surrounding police departments and special patrols to get illegal dirt bikes off the streets, which is something they hope to continue for the foreseeable future.
You know, I know this has been a problem, and these bikes should not be on the road. They're not meant for that. But I got more of a problem with regular bicyclists. Mm-hmm. You're riding down major streets in Springfield, popping wheelies and weaving in and out of regular traffic. To me, that's almost as dangerous as anything else.
That's everywhere, and that I'm driving through Huntington Sunday.
Yeah,
and there was a bunch of kids riding their bikes down the street, and there's this one kid who just veers out into the middle of the road and doing wheelies and doesn't even and a part of me wanted to do the old man yelling out the window thing, but I'm also like, Darwin will get you, Like sometimes
it's survival of the fittest thing.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's like, what else can you do other than? And I was going the opposite way anyway, so I was. Where is my public responsibility? Do I have one? Are you responsible for telling a kid to stop being a dink and riding your bike in the middle of the road like that?
Well, considering that you have all these major streets with designated bicycle lanes, and they're still going down the center of it, and it's dangerous. I don't hear enough conversation about that. And I realize, a bicycle you can ride on a city street, but you shouldn't be doing, wheelies down Page Boulevard. You shouldn't be doing, you shouldn't be, weaving out of traffic on Boston Road or, or Main Street. Yeah. Those kinds of things are ridiculously dangerous.
So if you plan to ride a dirt bike this summer, you're advised to go somewhere legal. Otherwise, officials say you may face some serious consequences if caught, especially in Springfield. I credit this to Mayor Dom Dom.
You do?
And not only his policies, but his stern prowessness of telling people to get off my lawn. And my lawn is the entire city of Springfield. When I revoke your gas privileges, even your dirt bike starts pedaling.
Good point.
I don't need a tow truck to seize that dirt bike. I'm just going to give it a stern look and it's going to surrender. Your Yamaha checks under its bed at night for Dom Dom. Dom Dom's signature on an ordinance is so powerful, gas stations voluntarily stop fueling those dirt bikes before they even start to ride. When Dom Dom patrols the streets, dirt bikes transform into stationary bikes out of pure respect. It's like Ray Liotta in Goodfellas. Those kids in the neighborhood, they respect. They carried my mother's groceries out of respect. You're going to be turning into an e-bike soon.
Yeah, right.
I see you out there. Those things are dangerous. There was a lawsuit in New York City happening. A guy was killed by another guy on an e-bike.
Oh yeah.
Those things are pretty damn powerful. They're not just when somebody first said to me electric bike, I'm like, electric bike, what is that going to push you like 3 miles an hour up the street?
No.
Those things they're like mopeds. They go like 30, 35 miles an hour.
Yeah. And
they're silent and you can't hear them. And you can see how easily somebody could get injured by one of those things.
You got to know how to brake in one of those things too. You can't just, you got to kind of ease into a stop.
A friend of mine last year, we were down at the beach and he let me ride his. And I was like, oh my God, I should have had a helmet on riding this thing.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's like riding I shouldn't say motorcycle, but it's like riding a pretty fast scooter. And it's got some oomph to it too.
Sure it does. That's how how else is it supposed to go up a hill?
You know, Dom Dom doesn't need GPS to find illegal dirt bikes. They just follow the path of my disapproval. And I catch them in a big net. That's how I do it.
When it comes to Dom Dom, GPS has a different meaning.
My policies have been so good.
How good are they?
They're so good, even the bicycles are applying for licenses. You know, when I pass a new ordinance on dirt bikes, they don't just leave Springfield. They leave the state. Go to Connecticut. Home of basketball. Oof-ah, with the signs. You know, I once stayed at a dirt bike so long.
How long?
Turned into a unicycle.
It dropped an entire wheel.
Dropped an entire wheel. So, listen, just be careful out there. It's okay to have fun on your ATVs, but like they said, do it safely and do it not on the street.
It's 8:19.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
You're very welcome.
My Dom Talk.
8:19 to Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:25 and Sabbath with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Hey, it's back. The Rock 102 Golf Club brought to you by Swing Oil Beer. Get 7 rounds of golf, including cart to some of the area's great courses like Keeney Park, Brattleboro, Northampton Country Club for only $129. That's less than $20 a round. It goes on sale today at 9 o'clock at rock102.com. Makes a great gift for any golf enthusiast. You know, Father's Day is right around the corner. The Rock 102 Golf Club brought to you by Swing Oil Beer. Try their New England IPA, perfect for the golf course. And Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Hey, don't discount Mother's Day. There's a lot of moms out there that golf.
Oh, they swing pretty heavily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mother's and Father's Day.
That's right. A lot of beer drinkers out there, too. So
moms like beer as well.
They do.
And
sucking them down and swinging them out.
That's it.
That's right. Ball washing is the number one priority there on the course.
Hell of a swing, hun. Yeah, I like that. Good for that.
Yeah, good for you, babe.
Anyway, so there you go. So that all starts today at 9 o'clock for your chance to buy into the Rock 102 Golf Club and rock102.com.
Hey, what year is it?
2025.
Napster just sold for $207 million. What?
Who's still using Napster?
I don't know. Napster, which launched all the way back in 1999, just sold for $207 million in the year 2025.
Now, who bought that?
A metaverse company called Infinite Reality. A lot of people didn't know if he was even still around. I didn't know Napster was still a thing.
I didn't know. I mean, considering you got the Apple Music, the Spotify's, and Pandora's of the world, I mean, I didn't know that was even a deal.
It's like Spotify or Apple Music, but not as popular. Their big selling point is the audio is less compressed, so people who want good sound quality prefer it. But isn't it... how much better is the sound quality? Do you notice the difference?
You know what? I do notice the difference. For example, like at home, if I'm using like Bluetooth on my stereo from my phone, because I got stuff on Spotify that I don't physically have physical media for, there is a definitive sound quality difference between streaming and say vinyl, like significant.
Most people don't notice.
They don't, but I mean, if you compared one or the other, and you listen to it carefully, you go, my God, that actually sounds like garbage.
Even on radio stations, that one across town.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
The one with the breakfast cereal.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, they speed up their songs
so they can get more commercials in.
Yeah. And it's sped up just enough that most people won't recognize it. But if you listen to, let's say, a Taylor Swift song, or, because obviously they play pop music and stuff over there, or even Peebo Bryson.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, right.
Even if you listen to any of those songs, they're sped up just in the slightest bit.
Mm-hmm.
And some sales guru years ago going, hey, if we speed up these songs by half a second or two, even 1.5 seconds, we can get an extra 60 seconds of commercials in per hour.
That's money in the bank.
That's money in the bank.
Yeah, there is a big sound quality difference, between vinyl, CDs, MP3s, regular streaming, and it's like, if you really want to hear it in the way that it was meant to be heard, MP3s are not fully the answer. I mean, you're right. Most people would not know the difference unless they were physically comparing the two. Like, you hear Sabbath, for example. You hear Paranoid on vinyl and you hear Paranoid on MP3. It's like, what could be the difference? Then you listen to it like, oh, wow, that's a big difference.
I'm trying to, this is the, turn this up. This is
drive?
This is the Family Guy where he's
Can't just sit in a car and pretend
the big green egg.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had to pretend to be impressed by Quagmire's new big green grill? This is the largest high-performance ceramic cooker available, Peter. NSF certified. Ah, yeah, cool. I'm starving. When do we fire this thing up? Fire this thing up? Get a load of this guy. You don't just fire it up. You slowly bring it to temperature. Okay. When do we put the burgers on? Burgers? Are you hearing this? You don't put burgers on a grill of this quality, Peter. I've been brining a heritage breed chicken for 3 days. Then can we put that on? Yes, at midnight when it's reached temperature. Then why am I here now? Because I need your help to move the grill a single inch. Well, let's just listen to music on my high-end stereo
This
system.
is the part.
Nice. Let's crank it. Crank it? You hear this, clown? I only use it to listen to podcasts.
Today on The Moth, how a single pair of shoes reunited two sisters.
That's what you do at home, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
Let me
I
listen
don't.
to my Baxi's musical podcast.
No, I don't quite do that.
Yeah,
no,
you
Believe
could.
me. I'm not a snob. I'm not as snobbish as you think I might
You
be.
could. You could
I
be.
could go there, but
Yeah.
I don't have to.
All right.
We got news next to Rock 102.
Here's your
8:34 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A slew of narcotics was found in Holyoke on St. Patrick's Day, leading to the arrest of 2 people after police conducted quality of life checks last week. Last Monday, officers found 9 bags of heroin and fentanyl abandoned on a porch on South Bridge Street. A few hours later, officers returned to the area for a gun call. Multiple people took off when police arrived, but officers eventually tracked down 28-year-old Jonathan Vergara after he ditched a bike and jumped over some fences on Cabot Street. Once in custody, Vergara was found with 15 bags of heroin and 5 more in the area he ran from. Just doing the quality of life check here, Clancy, on St. Patrick's Day. This Viagra over here. He stole that. He stole a whole bunch of Viagra. He's a hardened criminal.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Here's a guy being chased, right? He's jumping over fences. He's leaping over shrubberies. He's evading cops at every possible turn.
He's a lucky leprechaun.
He's a lucky leprechaun. But if you've got that kind of athletic ability, think about how his life could have been changed if he had just focused on athletics rather than the drug trade. Because he sounds like he's got like feet of fire.
The next day, police were back in the same area for more property checks. Oh, you can follow the leprechaun puke all the way to the fentanyl.
That's how you track him down.
He was eventually caught.
The golden road of leprechaun vomit.
And found with 60 vials of cocaine and nearly 100 bags of heroin and fentanyl. Both men now facing several trespassing and drug-related charges.
If this guy spent as much time training for track and field events, like he's trained for the drug trade, he'd be in the Olympics.
We just did that Family Guy clip of the stereo and the big green egg.
Yes.
The other one I saw yesterday was Fred Flintstone. Like he was on World's Scariest Police Chases with that guy, John Burnell was the voiceover. Yeah, this man decided, and he's like, and now he's got a dinosaur sticking his head out of the roof and putting a baby on top. Not only is he endangering the lives of himself, but others as well.
Hey, Fred, I think they're onto you.
Yeah. Run from the police? Yabba dabba don't. And then they're seen with like 5 cops beating the crap out of Fred Flintstone as he's trying to run away, as he's running in place with his feet.
See, hey, Fred, ditch it, the buzz.
Ditch it, the buzz. 5-0, 5-0. A driver told state police that their car was shot at on I-91 North in Hartford this morning. Troopers said I-91 North and Route 15 were closed for the investigation. They have since reopened. They said they received a call at 1:57 a.m. about a victim who reported that their car was shot at while traveling on I-91 near exit 29A. The victim drove to their home before they contacted authorities. Both lanes of I-91 northbound between exits 29 and 29A, as well as Route 15 between exits 87 and 89, were shut down for the investigation. No injuries were reported. The highway reopened at 5:19 a.m. There was also another shooting on I-91 South in Windsor yesterday.
It was like around 4:40 in the afternoon.
Which is crazy.
I
hope this isn't a trend.
I hope not. I mean, 2 within a day, that's not good for anybody.
That's not going to be good for business.
Let's keep our road rage incident on small private roads. Something that's not going to cause a great deal of traffic backup.
Also going on down in South Windsor, a Ludlow man facing several charges after he took off from a drug investigation in South Windsor. Police say 52-year-old Christopher Corbin was behind the wheel when he failed to stop for police for a narcotics investigation back in October. Even though this happened last year, he did not turn himself into police until yesterday. He was Monday, actually. He was charged with reckless driving, disobeying an officer's signal, engaging police in a pursuit, and failure to drive in a proper lane. He was held on $25,000 bond and appeared in the Manchester courtroom yesterday. Are we outsourcing the crime now? Hey, we need a couple more good criminals down here. Can you send them down South Windsor area?
They're committing the crime that people in Massachusetts aren't willing to commit.
Really?
That's what it sounds like.
Here's a crazy one out of Connecticut. A stepmother accused of imprisoning and torturing her own stepson for over 2 decades. Did you see this?
I did see this.
Was scheduled to appear in court Wednesday morning. Kimberly Sullivan is expected to plead not guilty to kidnapping and assault charges. The case drew national attention. While Sullivan's attorney indicated that his client may not enter a guilty plea, no official statement was made. The courtroom was expected to be closely watched. According to investigators, the allegations against Sullivan were horrific. Prosecutors claim that she kept her 32-year-old stepson confined to a small room approximately 9 feet by 8 feet for at least 22 hours a day over a span of 20 years.
That's unbelievable.
What a horrible. The surprising thing about this is, you remember that Ariel Castro,
the guy in
had
Cleveland,
those girls locked up in his house?
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder how many other people are experiencing this kind of horrific treatment.
Well, you hope not a lot, but when you do hear about stories like this, it's always it's hard to imagine the scale of that.
Yeah,
20 years, 2 decades. I mean, it's incredible that either nobody noticed or nobody had questioned anything. It's like, how does that happen? But it can happen.
The victim, who was eventually rescued, was said to have been forced to drink toilet water and use bottles to go to the bathroom.
Jesus.
He was also reportedly never allowed to see a dentist and hadn't been bathed in over a year when rescuers got to him. When he was found, he weighed only 68 pounds. The victim's desperation for freedom reportedly led him to set a fire in his bedroom. Sullivan denied the allegations, but has yet to offer any explanation for the accusations against her. A GoFundMe was made for the stepson. I almost thought a GoFundMe was, when I first read that, was her, and I'm like, okay, GoFundMe needs to, rethink. Yeah. But whatever, it is for the stepson. As of Wednesday morning, it had taken in nearly $195,000 in donations. So hopefully that kid.
Does it say where the what happened to the biological father? Is he passed on?
I haven't read the story enough to find out. But either way, I mean to treat another human being like that is just. I don't know how you have to be some sort of mental incapacitation.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.
In order to treat somebody like that. And I'm not making excuses for this lady. I'm like, but you for that long, for that time to keep somebody
for that level of cruelty. I don't think there's any question that there's definitely some mental illness, prompting a lot of this kind of behavior. Because I mean, what person in their right mind would treat another human being this viciously?
I don't know. Let's talk about something a little bit lighthearted before we bring in our guests for this morning.
Or do I have to talk about the Western Mass Home and Garden Show again?
Bacon and Brews is sold out. Here's a head start on your spring cleaning checklist. It's a survey.
Survey said.
Someone asked Reddit to name the top things guests noticed that can make your place seem gross.
Okay.
The bathroom. They'll look around while sitting in there, and they will judge you. Toothpaste splatter on the mirror is a huge one. Actually, even the flick from the mouth stuff that crusts on the mirror if you don't wipe it off.
Yeah, that is kind of gross.
Doorknobs and light switches. They're touched a lot, so the area around them can start looking gross. You're there every day, so you might not notice. You know what? I don't judge people when listen, especially if you have kids and a dog, your house is lived in. That's how I see it.
Short of like a hoarding situation.
Yeah.
If it's not that. I mean, listen. People live the way they live.
I mean, there is a level of grossness that you probably should start cleaning up after. But I mean, if you're, how pretentious are you that you're noticing all the doorknobs? How dirty the doorknobs are.
It's. I mean, I realize that things can get, germs can get passed from hand to doorknobs. I understand that.
Here's one I'm guilty of: dirty dishes. You can get away with it if it looks like you just haven't cleaned up from breakfast, but a full sink of dirty dishes is too much. I do that all the time.
We do it sometimes too. Like we have a dishwasher, but if the dishwasher is clean, I haven't emptied it yet in 4 or 5 days. Sometimes dirty dishes do tend to stack up.
Old food in the fridge, you don't want that.
There's a couple of things that probably need to go,
especially when it starts to smell.
Yeah.
Dirty floors. It's going to happen, but you do have to clean them every once in a while.
Every now and then.
And the smell, taking the trash out before guests show up is always a good call. My dog takes care of that. He eats the whole thing.
I cleaned up the trash for you.
Yeah, he's
it's in my belly.
He's a canine trash compactor.
Get in my belly.
My dog, fat bastard.
He is. He absolutely is. Your Pioneer Valley forecast is going to be mostly sunny today with a high of 49. Tomorrow, more of the same. It's 33 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Join the team.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:52, and Sublime with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Concerts galore.
A while back, we had Angela Park and Dan McClellick from 52 Sumner in here talking about how they were going to start doing some events and how they're hoping it's going to really grow into something. Well, it finally has. Guys, thanks for coming in. This is great. A great calendar of stuff you got going on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, agreed. It's been a long time. I think Kingfish was the last time we were here.
Yeah.
Show,
how was that show, by the way?
Oh my God, it was
phenomenal,
awesome.
right?
That was great. I went to that show. Yeah,
awesome.
that was awesome.
Yeah, it was dynamite. We had a lot of people. They like different genres, and whenever they came just to support us, they didn't know who the musician was or whatever, and they just left. Like that was just a musical experience. That was amazing.
And he's a brilliant musician, and the fact that you guys were able to land a Kingfish like that was pretty remarkable. But what you're doing this year, I think, is really awesome because you've got events going all the way through. Tell us about what's coming up, and I think the next one is Friday, right?
Friday, yeah. We have a tribute series right now. It's called Rock Rewind, and we have a ton of good old school groups come through. So this weekend is Heart. which
play a little game. We got Bad Animals for
Yeah.
Heart. Chicago Total Access.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, Chicago. Vintage Skinner. That's a hard one to guess who they cover.
Yeah.
Don
I like
Jovi.
I like the fact that they've spelled vintage with a Y.
Right,
That- you gotta,
right.
You gotta. That's some creativity right there.
Yeah, and then we have Don Jovi coming in.
See, I prefer Ron Jovi. I
Ron
don't know.
Jovi. Yeah. Well, I think the
Who
lead
this
singer's
Don
name
guy
is lead singer's name is Don, so it fits.
Yeah,
you know,
there
that's
you
how
go.
they keep. They don't forget the name of it. And we have Beautiful Losers coming in. They're a tribute to Bob Seger. Refugee, and then Fleetwood Mac. So these run from now all the way to the 31st of May.
I'm sorry, I won't be at the Tom Petty tribute band.
Steve's too much of a snob
Yeah,
to lower his very high standards.
I'm sure they're great. I'm just
sure they're
great.
terrific, but that's Steve.
But Fleetwood Mac, you said, right?
Fleetwood Mac,
and then you got this really cool thing coming up in July, the Ska Festival. that you got coming
so
up here.
I posted this on Facebook that this was coming because I thought it was really awesome. I couldn't believe the response it got. People were like, "Really? Where is this? Where is this place?"
Yeah.
I said, "Well, 52 Sumner Avenue in Springfield.
Yep.
It's not hard.
it's not the Bing.
It's
not the Bing.
Stop.
But this is actually a really cool event. Tell us a little bit about that."
Yeah, we're excited about that. We have a 2-day show. It'll run Friday night and then into Saturday. And I think it's 29 bands, $30. We have we're going to try a 2-stage approach. So we have the main hall. And then we also have, just think of like your old middle school, like gymnasium. We have one of those areas in there, and there's a stage in there. So they'll have a second stage, an A stage and a B stage. And on Saturday, we'll rotate between the stages and things like that. So it should be really cool.
I had no idea that the space had that. Really? I mean,
oh yeah, the place is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have 2 stages that we're gonna run, and it's gonna be a great time.
52 Sumner is not. I mean, you run a before and after school program for kids over there too.
Yeah.
So that's not just. It's not just this concert venue. You do a lot of other great stuff over there as well.
So sort of how all this came to be. We wanted to get kids off of tablets and electronics and get them more involved in the arts. And we were like, hey, why don't we just go ahead and make this great event space too, as an extension, to get these kids really involved. So.
The good news is you're far enough away from the X where all that all that extra construction is not going to be a real problem to get there for you. I mean, there's other ways to get over to 52 Sumner than going right through the X. But is there any concern about that project and getting people to the venue?
No, I don't think so, because we're so easy. We're right off the highway.
Yeah.
Easy on, easy off. Great parking. And that's a concern for a lot of people, but it's so easy to get into the space. So.
And you have that parking access across the street, right, where the old Friendlies was there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they going to knock the Friendlies down, or did they knock the Friendlies down?
No, it's a preschool now.
It's a preschool.
You can't knock down a preschool, Steve. No matter how many fishamajigs there may be inside.
I was going to say, there's probably a kid waiting 45 minutes at the preschool for a fishamajig lunch.
That kid will graduate high school before he gets his food.
Ice cold, right in the middle.
Right,
Yeah, there you go.
Right on. Yeah, we didn't have any disruption really from bright nights and things like that. Those are some of our concerns that we had, this year being our first December with events. But the Springfield Police Department did a great job with the traffic. We're right there at the very beginning of Sumner, right on the corner of Fort Pleasant. So there's a couple different ways to sneak around to get there.
This is Angela Park and Dan McClellick from 52 Sumner. When you guys came in here the very first time, and you're talking about what you've done to this venue. It's the old church that was there. Obviously, whenever you start a new venture like this, there's a lot of questions, a lot of concern. Can you get bookings? Can you get people to show up? And what you guys have proven, I think, is really admirable. You did a beautiful job renovating this building. You did a great job putting events in here, and now you're getting crowds. And I think you guys have got to be incredibly proud of what's occurred over there.
We are, but we're so hard on ourselves that it can always be better, right?
Sure.
So we're always looking to do bigger and better things too. So, we have a lot. We have a lot of some ideas that we're looking forward to maybe following through with. So,
any that you could expose prematurely here?
Water park.
Yeah,
Slip
we're
and
thinking
slide.
about that.
A pool of balls.
Pool of balls. Hey, that could be midget wrestling. I know.
Hey, little person wrestling.
Right.
Yeah, we're just
we got to be politically correct on this show. Yeah. Seriously, is there any other things that you're thinking about doing?
Well, we're trying to, this ska festival that you mentioned earlier with the 2 stages and things like that. I think that there's opportunities there to be able to provide, we have great things like the Jazz Festival and a lot of outdoor festivals. Well, if we can bring them, make them year round or make them weatherproof, so to speak, then, that's a great opportunity. And then programming for kids. We had somebody come in from in February. She's down on Broadway. And so we now have our Broadway connection.
Oh, cool.
And I'd love to do a Broadway workshop, and bring in the musical theater kids from the colleges and the schools around here and be able to, a low cost and be able to see a performer who's made it and, listen to their story and maybe show them some things, whatever that looks like. I don't know. I haven't brainstormed it completely. But, and to give back and to get those kids, keep them interested in the arts. Keep the arts in Springfield, and rather than going to other communities. And, outsiders, recognizing that Springfield is back on the map and there's an opportunity for their talent to pass through here and provide, a musical experience for our community rather than bypassing it and going from New Haven to Providence to Boston. Springfield's been bypassed for a long time.
The next event is Friday, Bad Animals. It's the Heart tribute band. If you want to find out more information to buy tickets, 52sumner.com.
52sumner.com. We do have a promo code, BaconWilson10. It'll get you $10 off a ticket. Because Bacon & Wilson's a great sponsor for us. You can get your tickets, save some money, have some fun, come and see us Friday night.
Very good.
A lawyer giving a discount? What is the world coming to?
Right on.
How about that?
Do other lawyers know you're doing this?
Yeah, I know. You might be on a list somewhere you don't want to be a part of.
Yep, might get in trouble somewhere. But yeah, we also, all the tickets are up on Eventbrite. So if you go to the Eventbrite website, you punch in 52 Sumner, and our upcoming shows will show up there, whatever else is in the Springfield area. So try to make it really consistent with the branding, 52 Sumner, the address, the place, the everything.
Very good. Angela Park, Dan McClellick, 52 Sumner. Guys, congratulations. Best of luck this season.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
It's 9 o'clock with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's just about 9:12, and Motley Crue with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 49. It is 33 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hey, it's a Rock 102 Bracket Brawl brought to you by Neutral. If your bracket is busted, and whose isn't, you still got a chance to make a new bracket for the round of 16 and for the round of 4. You go to rock102.com and make your next picks by tomorrow, the 27th. The best picks, and you'll score a $100 gift card to the Yard Tavern. That's a fine place with $100. Nothing too shabby about that. It's the Rock 102 Bracket Brawl, brought to you by Neutral, Vodka, Seltzer, Real Juice, the Yard Tavern, and Rock 102 Springfield's classic rock.
I got some fun facts for a Wednesday for you.
You do?
Yeah. Today is a year ago than the MV Dolly container ship crashed into the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore after losing power.
It's been a whole year already.
I know, isn't it? What do you get the ship that for a 1-year anniversary? Steel? It's illegal to own more than 6 sex toys in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Deep in the heart of Texas, you can't have more than 6 sex toys.
Well, how do you play with the Bronze Lone Star or the Lone Bronze Star down there with just one?
Yeah, you got to do something with that yellow star. That yellow. What is it? The yellow star. Yeah.
The yellow rose.
The yellow rose of Texas.
The brown rose of Texas. Yeah. The entire original Nintendo game, Super Mario Brothers. Is it Mario or Mario?
I say Mario.
Is on a 32 kilobyte cartridge. That means the file size of the game is probably around a third of the size of one photo today.
You don't say.
Yeah. No basketball movie has ever made $100 million at the domestic box office.
Really?
Tell that to James Naismith. I'm sure he's spinning in his grave right now like a Harlem Globetrotter, basketball on a finger.
But yet everybody watched The White Shadow back in the early 80s.
Yeah. And finally, for your Fun Fact Wednesday, the map of the fictional city of Pawnee, Indiana on Parks and Recreation is a map of Christchurch, New Zealand with the name changed.
No kidding. Man, the more you know.
Yeah. By the way, did I tell you about that singer in the
Give Me Shelter?
Give Me Shelter in the Rolling Stones?
You know, I got a buddy.
Yeah, I got a buddy, too, that's not interested anymore.
It's Bax and Nagle at Rock 102.